What do I mean by a post-Christian generation? That's going to be offensive to a lot of people in churches. It's offensive to some Christians. What do you mean, post-Christian generation? Well, offensive or not, it's the truth. See, right now, America, our country, is becoming one of the biggest mission fields. You have kids growing up today, teenagers, preteens, and even children now, whose parents were not raised Christian, who haven't been to church, and their parents weren't really Christian. So you've got kids today in America who have never heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. They might have heard something to do with it. They might have some background knowledge of Jesus, but they've never heard the story of Jesus completely. Just like if we were in a foreign country, going overseas to go tell those people in another place who never heard about Jesus. Some kids right here in this country have never set foot in a church, have never actually heard a gospel presentation. That's a post-Christian generation. Now, another thing about this post-Christian generation is America used to be basically founded on Judeo-Christian values. Christianity was the mainstream. Now you have a lot of competing religions and ideas that aren't quite mainstream, but there's a lot of things out there. There's Wicca, there's paganism, there's atheists, there's New Age. It doesn't necessarily... Christianity is not a given anymore, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of competing religions and ideas, and that makes it a post-Christian generation today, too, because kids today, they're different than 20, 30, 40 years ago. Back then, you could say, believe the Bible because it's true. You'd have a starting point that God is real, and that would be a given. It's gotten so bad that there's some people today that don't even believe Jesus really existed, despite the historical evidence. So, kids today are a post-Christian generation. They don't want to know, why should I believe because the Bible tells you to? They don't want to hear because the Bible says so. They don't want to hear just as faith. They want to have real reasons, intellectual reasons. They want you to give them a reason to believe. And that's a post-Christian generation. They don't want to hear Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and the life. They don't want to have a Bible verse quoted to them as proof. They want to know why they should believe. That's a post-Christian generation. Now, the last part of being a post-Christian generation of kids is, the worst part of all this, the absolute tragic part is, you have kids out there who think they know what Christianity is, who think they know what Jesus Christ, what he's all about, what he said, what he did, or what the gospel is. And they've heard a distorted view of Christianity from one of their friends or somebody on TV or something they read over the internet or read a Facebook post, and they think that's what Christianity's about. It's making it worse because you have people calling themselves Christians that are saying they're followers of Jesus, who are the furthest thing from Jesus, who are preaching a bunch of hate or nonsense, who aren't going by what Jesus actually said and did. So you have kids today that have rejected Jesus and rejected Christianity because they don't really know who Jesus is. They haven't heard the real story. They've heard a fabricated version or some falsehood, and they think they know about Christianity and they think they know about Jesus, but they've never really heard the gospel. That's a post-Christian generation. So this is what I mean by a post-Christian generation of kids. You've got kids that, one, have never heard the gospel before, whose parents weren't in church, who weren't Christian, who didn't raise them Christian. So those are the equivalent of people in another country who never heard the gospel before, because these kids have never heard the story of Jesus. That's a post-Christian generation. You've got other kids who heard bits and pieces and chunks of Christianity, but never really heard the real story of Jesus, who he was, what he said, what he taught, what he's about. You got kids that think they know it and have rejected Christianity, have rejected Jesus based on something they read on the internet or seen on TV or what somebody told them, who've never really known Jesus. That's a post-Christian generation. They have a fake image of Jesus. You've got kids today that don't want to just believe the Bible because we tell them to believe it, who don't want to hear Bible verses, who don't want to hear just believe in faith and just trust. They want real answers to their questions. That's a post-Christian generation. So Youth Haven is about providing help and hope to a post-Christian generation of kids. I believe that America, the United States of America, is quickly becoming the biggest mission field. And we need to reach kids as missionaries, speaking their language, reaching out to this post-Christian generation. So that's what I mean by post-Christian generation. Hope I explained that well enough.